We are back.
Hello.
So I have a surprise story for you before we start in with the trying of the Coca-Cola Eldritch Horror Starlight flavor.
Okay.
It does not
Okay.
taste like Eldritch Horrors, but
It does not.
it does not. But so I was on the way to the DMV, and as you know, I live not far from Gettysburg, so that is the closest DMV to me.
Mm-hmm.
So as I was driving there, I got up by Cavalry Hill and I got like just over the rise. And then I saw like I got this like really weird feeling, like weirder than usual going through Gettysburg. Gettysburg's always kind of weird.
Kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, um so as I'm coming up over the rise onto Cavalry Hill, I get this like really super weird, just like kind of feeling, like what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And then I get over the rise and I see something like in the rearview mirror, like something big, and I'm like, holy crap, like somebody is coming up on me like super fast. And I look in the
Okay.
rearview mirror and it's this like thing. And at first glance, I thought it was like a bear or something running across the street. Like it was huge. It was big and black and like kind of loping across the street, but it wasn't a bear. It was kind of upright and it was
What?
kind of see-through. And I was like, WTF? Like, what is that? And then I realized there's no cars anywhere around me on the street. I am on my own, broad daylight, no traffic, and there's this thing running across the street. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And then it just kind of like faded out like smoke.
What?
Yeah, right? So I'm just like, oh.
Okay.
So completely nonplussed. I am just like, so that's a thing that happened. And I kept driving to the DMV.
Okay.
Didn't even think anything of it. I was just like, okay, weirdness. And I go to the DMV, go in there, get my new photo taken for my driver's license. And I'm sitting in the parking lot and I'm thinking to myself, I have to tell Tim from Strange Familiars because this would be like right up his alley. He'd love this story. And
Right.
I took out my phone and I go to message Tim. And then I'm like, also my stomach starts growling. And I'm like, what the hell time is it anyway? And I look at the time and I'm like, wow, it's like way past lunchtime. I should text like my Battlefield tour guide friends and see if they're in town and if they want to do lunch. So I open up, I have Messenger open to message people. And instead of doing any of that, I close down the Messenger app. I open up the Maps app to see if I can get back around onto 6th Street to go up to the light and go back home. And that's what I did. I drove past a restaurant with my stomach growling, going, I should really stop in there and get something to eat. I am starving. And I drove home instead. And I got a milkshake on the way home. I do remember that part. But for the rest of the day, it was like a blur. I don't really remember the rest of the day. And
So here's what I'm hearing.
I was abducted by aliens.
You got an anal probe. But it was by a smoke monster.
It was the most bizarre thing ever. Like, and I mean, like, my life is bizarre, so this was really bizarre. It was so strange.
That is so weird.
Right? So I was just like, oh my gosh. And so I got home, and I finished my milkshake and everything, and I get home. And then I worked in the garden for a little while. But like I have to really concentrate to remember what happened on Friday.
Did you lose any time?
I don't know. Because it was like so weird because I ended up logging into a meeting for work like that morning. Like I took the day off, but I was like, you know what, this is a really fun project and I want to be part of it, and I want to like keep being part of it. So I don't want to miss the project because it's fun. So I logged in for that meeting. And then right after that meeting, so it was about 11 o'clock, I guess, I drove up to go to the DMV. And then by the time I got home, it was like 1 o'clock. And it was not that long that I was in the DMV, and Gettysburg is not that far away.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a 15-minute drive.
Yeah. So it was like super crazy weird. And I just remember
And
thinking,
also, I was mentioning to just the DMV experience. You left your house after 11 and you were home by 1 and you went to the DMV. There's some sorcery right there.
I walked right in. I said, I'm here to get my picture taken for my license. They said, okay, go ahead and have a seat over there. And they gave me my ticket. And I was the next person up.
This goes back to that whole where Susie just doesn't encounter obstacles in her day-to-day life.
Once I set my mind to doing something, there's no obstacles. It's just a matter of getting to that point of
There
having no
really are
obstacles.
not any obstacles for you
There
when
are.
you decide, well, no, but think about it. We're walking in New York City. Everybody else in New York City is dodging, going side to side. Susie, on the other hand, Miss Suzanne, is walking in a straight line while getting her luggage carried.
Yeah, that was weird. You
That
were just
was
like, oh, I'll
weird.
carry your luggage. And I was like, oh, okay.
I don't carry anyone's luggage. I barely carry my own.
It was so, but that's New York though. I mean, I literally walk into
And
the
also
city with,
Gettysburg.
and apparently Gettysburg. So yes, I walked into Gettysburg, and yeah. I mean,
Like,
when I
I'm
got my
sorry,
license,
that's what I'm focused on, but who gets
well,
in and
when
out
I
of the DMV in less than 2 hours?
it wasn't very crowded. I mean, it's a good place to go to get your DMV stuff done. And especially like, off hours, which it's kind of weird because it shouldn't have been off hours. Because it was lunchtime. That should have been the time that like everybody was there.
Hmm.
And the whole room was full on one side. But then the side that I had to go sit on, it was like me and one other guy.
Right. And if you had been needing to do an opposite thing and be on that other side of the room, it would have been empty and the photo side would have been full.
Yeah, it's weird.
Just admit to it. You're charmed.
Might be. But yeah, so that was weird with that whole thing. And then every time I tried, like I was going to message you and Matt about it, and I was going to message Tim about it, and every time I opened up the app to like message you guys, something would distract me and I would forget completely. And then I'd forget for hours and hours and hours and hours. And all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, I have to tell them about this. And it has taken me 3 days. Like I remembered it this morning, like at 7 o'clock this morning, and I was like, crap, I really have to tell people about this. And so I sat down, I opened up Messenger on the computer, and I turned on music. Like I turned on solfeggio harmonics and sat down and finally was able to like write it all out. But it was the weirdest thing. And then I was just like, yeah, I need to tell Candy about this because this is the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, that is weird. And so, was it like just a black? Was it running towards you or
It
just
was
across
running
the
just
street?
across the
Or
street. Yeah, it was just running across the street. It wasn't like coming, and I didn't see it when I was going past. And it's not like I was speeding or anything. I'm like mostly a granny when I drive, so I didn't see it on this side, and it's all open field, so it's not like it's gonna hide anywhere.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, I just caught sight of it in the rear view mirror, and I was like, "What the shit is that?" And I thought it was a bear. I thought it was a
Wow.
bear just running really weird, like a big bear running really weird, because it was way bigger than a bear. But then it was kind of see through, and then it was more see through, and then it was more see through.
And it was on 2 legs?
It was kind of like on two legs, and then it was kind of on four, and then it was back on two, and it was kind of like hunched over. It was really weird. You know what it reminded me of? Do you remember that picture in the Montauk Project of the beast or whatever it was called?
Mhm.
It looked sort of like that, but sort of see-through. And sort of like it was kind of running on four legs every once in a while and then like back up on two as it was running across the street.
Oh.
So it kind of like started up on two legs and then like dropped down like it was running on four. And then as it got to the other side of the road, it like stood up and then was gone. And it took like seconds.
You saw a werebear.
A werebear. But
A
the weird,
ghostly werebear.
you know, what struck me as odder than that, because that did not strike me as the odd thing. The odd thing was when I realized there was no traffic around me, no traffic behind me, no traffic in front of me, and I was right over by Route 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, how weird is, I was like, that's more weird than seeing some creature running across the road. The fact that there's no traffic
I'm
going
still
by an
stuck
on and
on
off
the DMV.
ramp. Yeah, so I got home and then couldn't remember it. And I've had weird dreams like all weekend. I don't feel like I've slept at all.
Weird.
Yeah. So there we go. That's my creature encounter story, I guess.
Cool.
I
Like,
I don't know even how to explain it. It's just, it's so
you
bizarre.
should talk to Tim about it.
I totally want to, because I'm like, okay, dude, you're the expert on this. I'm not. Like, Bigfoot
Hmm.
is not my wheelhouse at all. And,
Right.
you know, cryptids are not my wheelhouse at all. I write, you know, scary ghosts and horror vampires. I write about her.
Arr.
Yeah, it was so bizarre though. So yeah,
Hmm.
tune in next time for more adventures.
The Suzi saga.